do have the Light of the World lantern right beside it. It's that black lantern over there. All the funds raised in the third quarter will go to support Heartland International Ministries. And Joni is here, and she's going to tell us a little bit about it.
Hello, I'm Joni Miller. For those of you that don't know me, my mother is Judy Wright, and for the last 3 years, I have been working at Heartland International Ministries, and it has always, for the last 3 years, always been surprising to me, this journey that we're all on, as Scott was talking about, and being able to work with such an amazing organization. And I just want to tell you a little bit about Heartland International Ministries and a couple of stories. So we are an organization, we've been around for 21 years. We have over 30 partners around the world in 14 different countries. We're in India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Philippines, Croatia, Africa, several countries in Africa, Zambia and Kenya. And we have our 3 pillars, and our 3 main pillars are sharing the gospel, building communities, and doing good work. And all of our funding really filters into those 3, and we have 4 main funding initiatives. We fund education, which consists of schools and orphanages and scholarships for those in unreached areas. We do disaster relief. We send a lot of aid to our partners in the Himalayan region. In the Philippines has horrific typhoons. And a part of disaster relief is also Christian persecution. And that is very rampant in countries all over the world. And people are run out of their homes, they're beaten and they're killed for following their faith. We don't have to worry about that in this country, but a lot of people in different parts of the world really suffer with that a lot. We also help with livelihood projects, and we also help with, oh my goodness, my last one is, the mission church planning. So we do a lot of house churches, and one of the stories that I want to tell you about is about Pastor Vashi, and he is in the outskirts of Delhi, and there is a huge trash dump on the outskirts of Delhi, and we call it the Trash Dump Village. And Pastor Vashi was called to help the people that are literally living in the trash dump outside of that huge city. Of the thousands of people that live in that trash dump, there are about 25,000 children. And they have no running water. They have no normal housing or anything like that. They build their houses out of the trash that is dumped there. Because of the conditions, he felt very compelled. He has started a school. It's called the New English School. And he teaches the children how to do all sorts of things. And he teaches that through teaching them English and using the Bible. And those children, by teaching them, gives them an opportunity to do a lot of different things that they might not otherwise have in the conditions that they're born in. And it keeps them from malnutrition. It keeps them from being trafficked because it's very easy for them to be trafficked out of the trash dump. These children are born and they're not, they don't have a birth certificate. No one knows that they're there. The police don't help them because they're Christian. And so the government really doesn't care for them like a lot of people in our communities here in the United States. So Pastor Vashi has a church, and the last time I spoke with him, which was a couple of weeks ago, he was trying desperately to work with the police and the government so that they wouldn't shut down his church, because the Muslim and the Hindu people, extreme people in India, don't want them practicing Christianity. So they are working really hard to make sure that his church isn't shut down so he can continue to help the children in the trash dump. We are always working towards expanding our mission and expanding our reach. So my boss and his wife just recently returned from Zambia, Africa. We have two partners in Zambia. We have Pastor Christopher Mubunga, who has a school and an orphanage and 3 churches that he oversees. And we also have Bishop Zulu, and they have 4 new church plants, an orphanage, and a school as well that we help support. And after Byron and Jerry helped with different church services with Pastor Mubunga in Ndola and Bishop Zulu in Lusaka, they decided to do just a 4-day vacation of just their own. They wanted to do some sightseeing. They wanted to see the falls and all of that. So when they were looking at the different falls, and they were in a lodge that they were staying in for a couple of days, they were confronted by the person that owns the lodge, and he said, "I would really love for you to be able to meet someone that I think you might really enjoy meeting." And so they were like, "Okay, that's fine." So they met with this person, and they are, this couple is running an orphanage in the rural areas of Zambia. And the orphanage that they're running is for special needs children. And these children have cerebral palsy and Down syndrome and are disabled, and no one is helping them, and they are living literally in squalor. They have dirt floors, they have dirty beds, they have very little food, because they don't want to be, the government doesn't take care of them. Their families can't take care of them. So they are sent to this orphanage to be cared for by whoever has a heart for caring for them. And it was then that Byron and Jerry realized that maybe they weren't there for just some sightseeing. Maybe God had a different plan of why they were positioned in the area that they were to help this orphanage. So we are reaching out to the organization that is helping this orphanage next week, and we're very hopeful that we'll be able to send funding for a new floor, possibly, that's not dirt, some new bedding and beds and things like that, and medication for those children. And those are just 2 of the stories, one in India, one in Africa, that we do every day. We have a lot of correspondence with our partners. We meet on Zoom calls with them once a month, and then we also try to tell their stories, because I think it's the stories that are very powerful that hopefully will continue to allow us to give funding to these very poor countries that really need community and building up of their communities as well. And I think the church receives the newsletter, and I can get you a lot more where this came from. I have 2 boxes sitting in my office. But this in particular newsletter that just came out talks about education and disaster relief. And then the next one, and all of the partners, well, not all of the partners, but a good chunk of our partners that do education and disaster relief. And then the next one will be dedicated to mission and church planting and livelihood projects. And so I encourage you all to read these. I will send you several for people to have so you can get an idea of what we do. But their stories is what makes Heartland International Ministries who we are. And without those stories, we couldn't tell you guys and have you hopefully help us. And I'm very appreciative that the Christian Church has selected us for this quarter. Our mission is really important, and we really want to build on the global community. And so that's why I'm here today telling you about all of this. And thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
And I'm sure if I run out of those journals to hand out, I bet we have somebody in this congregation who would make sure I keep in stock. So thank you for that. But that is what the third quarter of the Light of the World Lantern is going for. And what we've always asked, of course, none of it's required. We've always asked for $1 a week, which is $13 throughout the quarter for each individual to contribute to that Light of the World Lantern. Of course, if you feel called to give more, certainly, I'm pretty sure Joni's not going to care. She'll let you give more. So, but that's what's going on there.